Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Robert Bright at Unity Church of El Cajon, and today I have the distinct pleasure of being with Reverend Arthur Hammons, the founding minister of our church. And Reverend Hammons is going to speak about You Have the Power, and this is a chapter from his new book, which will be released any day now, called This Chapter of Your Life. And we're really excited about this upcoming book, Arthur.
Thank you. I'm
And
excited too.
yeah, and this is, what number book is this for you?
This is number 3.
Number 3. Wow, they are glorious inspirations. So we're looking forward to your talk today, Arthur, and thank you so much for being here. You are a blessing to our church community.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me. And thank you for the lovely introduction. And then a disclaimer, this is not a commercial about my book. This is a commercial about you and the power that you have. And I believe that each of us is very powerful. And to know that power, to wake up to it, to listen to it, to follow it, to nurture it, and increase our awareness of it will increase its ability to work through us to create whatever we want to create. So I hope that these ideas I share with you will be helpful to you. Now, because this is on YouTube, which is kind of scary to me, someone could be seeing this at any time and just wonder, well, what is this? Who is this? Why? Well, let me tell you, I think there are such things as divine appointments. And those of you that know me and that are a member of our regular audience, I think you kind of know about these things. But if you're new and you just kind of fell into this podcast, maybe you're supposed to be here. Maybe this is a divine appointment. Maybe something that guided you to this to help you discover something that it's time you discovered. So if you just fell in, stay here for a while and see if this works for you. If you're a regular and you already know these principles, then let me ask you to listen with new ears. And also let me ask you to listen, not as though I'm talking at you, but that I'm talking with you about some principles that all of us can benefit from believing in. So the idea is that you have the power. Now, where does this power come from? Where did you come from? What are we doing here? Well, I think we all have like a little battery within us, but this battery does not need to be recharged and it doesn't poop out. I believe that we have a battery, a spark, a essence of life within us. I think this was with us before we came into this world. I think we came into the world to express it and expand it and to eliminate concepts of who we are that no longer serve us and to acquire new concepts of who we are and how who we are can become more. So then this little battery within us has many names. It's been researched and evaluated and appreciated for centuries by mankind. And it's this part of us that is alive. And many of us believe that it stays alive even after our body isn't alive, and that it goes on to manifest itself in the next phase of life. Some people think this is reincarnation. Some people think this is a spiritual evolution. That the belief that you have is the one that I hope serves you. And I hope it helps you be a better person. And I hope it helps you strive to accomplish the things that you came here to accomplish. In Christianity, this battery, this spark, and there are no sparks or flashes of light, and so there are no dull sparks. And this spark of life, this energy, this life being source within us has many names. And in Christianity, it is called the Anointed of God, or the spark of God, the life of God, the Spirit of God. And the the anointed of God in another language is Christos. And when people saw a particular individual whose name was Jesus, and the way that he lived and the way that he manifested his power and benefited others, he was a beneficial presence. They said that he was the one that was anointed with this spark, and they called him Jesus the Christ, the Christos. And so the Christos was not his last name. They didn't have last names back then. They didn't have telephone books, and they didn't need them. We don't have telephone books anymore either. So, but they knew him as the anointed one. And when they said, "You are so special," he assured everyone. He said, "It's not I that does the work, but it is the spark, the Father within." And he said, "You have this same ability." So this is in Christianity, this is where we are coming from, that we are created in the image and likeness, the spiritual image and likeness of God, and that we have this spark within us that empowers us to do our best, to know right from wrong, to love, to forgive, to have compassion, and to develop our senses and our awareness and our knowledge and our lifestyle so that we become a beneficial presence, so that we do whatever we do as best we can. So knowing this, then this helps for those of you that are new and those of you that already know all of this, and it's just a great way to be reminded. We are manifesting our divine potential, and we came here full of divine potential, and we came here with concepts and ideas and awareness that we've outgrown, or that may have come with the packaging, but that needs to be filtered out and replaced by present, conscious, loving, capable, plugged in, sparked awareness. And when we do that, then we can start to see the results that are that this kind of consciousness can manifest for us. So I wanted to share some ideas with you about the power that you have. But before I do that, I needed to tell you what the power is and where it comes from. It is your God presence. It is God's stuff in you. And this does not make you a religious person. Religion is very good and necessary and beautiful. I love the traditions of religion and the symbology, the artwork, the meaning, the stories, the pressure, the reward and punishment philosophy. Those are very helpful um, ideas that keep some people in line because they need that at this point in their evolution. To be spiritual means to be above the laws, the rules, and regulations, to mind them and be respectful of them, but also to create results that, staying within the laws and the regulations, uh, rise above. And so the religion is very important. And I love the ideas that are represented religiously. But to be spiritual is to rise above the laws and the rules and the regulations, and interpret a feeling and an emotion and let the spark within you shine. In order to do that, we have to acknowledge that it's there, and we have to give it our power and let it empower us. And I think this is what Jesus did. I think this is what all the great religious leaders and spiritual people in the world have done. And I think that we can look at their lives and understand how they were operating and where they were coming from, and then incorporate those ideas in our lives. We can also look at the people that are known as what we call bad people, and see how they use their power and how it did not promote the good that they could have done had they used all that power from and shifted it from a negative use to a positive use. And we can learn from them too. And we can learn from our past mistakes. And we can benefit by seeing how we used our power or misused it or didn't even use it, and then move on from there. So I have some points I want to make about the power that you have. Hopefully, now that we understand we have the power, what it's called, where it comes from, and that it is ours to use. The result of using this power will lead us to a happier, fuller, healthier, more prosperous life, and without being encumbered by negative beliefs and habits and results. We will be freer, and in our freeness, we will experience more movement, more joy, less pain and discomfort, and more prosperity, and more love, and more of everything good in our lives. So, realizing that you have the power, here's my number one point. You need to decide, discipline, dream, and declare. You have the power to decide, discipline, dream, and declare. And I have a every once in a while, because I do a workout every day, and um, we have a thing called the mirror, and it's an exercise thing that you stand in front of a mirror and you mimic the instructor in the class. Because I do those things, I get to reward myself, and I have a little. Sometimes it's an M&M, but sometimes it's one of those Dove things, and the Dove chocolate, and inside it has a little message inside the wrapper on the chocolate. And my wrapper for last night's treat was, "You don't have to be asleep to dream." And I like that idea because we can dream with our eyes wide open. We can declare, we can decide, we can dream, and we can discipline. We have that power. And when you know that you have that power and then you start to use it, then you can say, well, what would I dream of? What would I desire? How do I discipline how I'm going along? And how do I declare what I want? And by asking those questions, you don't need to go to someone else. You just go to that power within you, that spark, that battery, that light of lights, that heart of heart, and ask these questions, thinking about it. That could be called meditation or prayer, thinking about it until the the ideas start to flow and the answer starts to come. And sometimes those answers and the ideas are very basic and very primary, but they can lead to complex answers and pathways and ideas and inspiration that are all inspiring. And sometimes those inspiring ideas are so big, they seem like they're bigger than we are. But you can't get an idea that's bigger than you are. They don't come any size larger than you can manifest. And to know that is very exciting. With this little book I wrote, I had the idea and I started writing, and then it turned into pages and chapters, and it developed. And I'm real happy with the results because it was an idea that came through me to me, and then I manifested it. I declared, I desired, I dreamed, and I disciplined myself to bring it into being. So, knowing this, then you have the power to review and reevaluate the past and how it helped you become who you are. You can review, reevaluate the past. So, oftentimes we have a past experience and it holds us down or it holds us back because we're telling the story about how bad it was, how sad it was, how unfortunate it was, and unfair. And we wallow in all of that instead of standing up, taking a step out of it. Watch what you're stepping in. Take a step out of it and declare that did happen. It was just as bad and bloody and hurtful and awful as it was. But I survived. I'm here. And it's in the past. I'm not in the past. It's in the past. I'm here. And I'm taking the value that it increased in my awareness, and I'm living on the interest. I'm living on the payments of good that it gives me to put in the present moment. Thank you for the past, and thank you for all the people that were in the past, the ones that helped me, and the ones that at the time I thought were hurting me. You didn't know what you were doing. You meant it for good. I'm here now, wiser, stronger, better, more capable. So thank you very much. I'm moving forward. You have the power to review and reinvent your past and reevaluate your past and see what it has helped you become. You also have the power to change your stories. Now, I love stories. I love to tell them, I love to hear them. And we have two grandsons who are twins. They're fraternal, and they're 7.5 years old, and they're spending the night tonight. And we are bracing ourselves for the adventures that we have with them. And every evening, I tell them a story. And some of the stories I tell them are stories that I've learned from people in the congregation that I served. And some of the stories I can't tell them, but some of the stories I can, and I do. And they love my stories. At least they say they do. And I love my stories. I love to tell them. What's your story? I have a friend that used to live across the street, and their answering machine was they would say, "Hello, tell us your story," and then that was their, instead of leave a message or I'll call you right back. What's your story? And everybody else knows it. And if you can't remember it or want to just test the people around you, ask the people around you, what's my story? What do I always say? And you'd be amazed at what they might tell you. Some of you might go, "Oh no, I don't sound like that, do I?" And, "Oh, well, really? I'm that positive?" But what is your story? What stories do you tell about who you are, where you've been, how you got here? You always have the ability to change your stories, and you can enhance them and make them better than they actually were, so that the enhanced version is projected into your future. And then you can live up to those enhancements of being, say, more loving or more generous or more forgiving or more understanding, and advance yourself by rearranging your stories. And besides that, your stories that you're telling, they're probably not anywhere near as accurate as what really happened. I mean, the good stuff as well as the bad stuff, because distance and time and progress distorts our memory and our values and our experiences. And it probably didn't turn out like that at all, or wasn't like that at all. But it turned out the way you keep repeating it. And you can change your stories and give them a new oomph and emphasis and positiveness, and watch how that changes your concept of and your demonstration of who you are and how you are in your future. Now, then, you have the power to visualize your future, and you can look around and see other people and how they are living. And you can look at people that are older than you and see how they are living and what they're up to. And then you can put yourself in their place and saying, well, I'll be like that someday. Or you can choose to look at role models and people who are maybe older than you are, maybe younger than you are, and say, no, I choose to be like this. This is the kind of level of energy, the level of productivity, the level of smarts and conversation and charm and love and style. This is how I'm going to be. So you can visualize your future, and then your vision of what your future can look like will help you behave and develop the habits and do the things that will create that vision and make it your reality. Then another power that you have is to free yourself from limiting beliefs. Now, I know I'm 78 and a half, and I know people that are my age, and they have a phone, but they don't know how to use it. And some of them do not do email or have computer skills because they weren't raised in a time when there was Pac-Man that they could play. I mean, it was there, but and they were there, but they didn't meet. Uh, and they have a belief system that they can't do some things, and that belief system is holding them back, and it's aging them and limiting them and having them on pause. We need to look at the things that we believe, the limited, our limited beliefs, and say, I've got to figure this out. I'm smart enough, I'm capable enough, I have the tools and the time and the ambition and the gumption. And I will develop the belief that I can free myself from these unlimiting beliefs, and then seek them out and take them one at a time, and then just see what you can accomplish, and you'll be amazed and delighted, and you'll feel lighter and more capable and more youthful and energetic and energized, because you don't have the weight and the luggage of those unbeliefs, those limiting beliefs that hold us back. You also have the power to claim your good, knowing that it is already yours. Now, there's good for you, and it's already there for you. Claiming it helps you and it get together through attraction, through affirmation, through belief, through using your power. There's a famous Catholic prayer that says, Hail Mary, Mother of Grace, thank you for my parking space. And when you're in your car and you're trying to find a place to park, if you'll say that prayer, it works whether you're Catholic or not, you will connect with the parking space that is already there waiting for you. And one time I said this prayer and I really needed a parking space. I was having to go into a shopping center and pick up something, and I really needed to be moving along. And the perfect parking space turned out to be a distance away from the door of where I was going. And so I parked and started my hike to the door, and I ran into a couple from church. Hello, Reverend. Oh, hi, how are you? And they, I said, I haven't seen you lately. And they said, well, we had this and that happen. So I said, well, I'm sorry. I'll say a little prayer for you. And when you get better, you come on back to church. Well, I got to the store, I accomplished what I went there for. And then the next Sunday, there they were. And they said, meeting you in the parking space reminded us of our church and the things we learned there. And we knew we needed to come back. So we're back. So then I realized that although that parking space was not right by the door, it was my perfect parking space because I needed to see them. They needed to see me. And I was at the right place at the right time. So it works. But it works because we know that our good is already ours and it's already theirs. So if you want a fit, trim, good looking body, it's already there. Then, and you believe that it's there, then your habits will adjust to the right kind of food and the right kind of exercise to release what that covering, sometimes known as fat, that covering that's limiting that beautiful, perfect, healthy body of yours from showing up. It's already there. Your prosperity is already there. Your abundance, your right relationships, your clear thinking, your habits for being the best that you can be, they're already there. And believing that they're already there, you have the power to believe this, helps you discover ways to bring them into fruition. Then you have the ability to say, I am God's perfect child. I do not inherit sickness. I am well. And now I'm a minister of the Unity philosophy, the Unity Church. And our world headquarters is in Kansas City, Missouri. We publish the longest running daily devotional magazine in the history of the United States, religious publications and inspirational publications. And our co-founders were Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And Myrtle was diagnosed with leukemia. Leukemia was contagious, it still is. And in households where people didn't go out and jog or get exercise, they breathed the same air, and she was ill, and her doctors gave her a very grim prognosis. She said, I am God's perfect child, and I do not inherit sickness. She said this and said this, and her condition didn't improve at first. But the longer she said it, the longer she believed it, the longer she empowered these words to be the source of her life and her direction in her life, the more healthy she became, until she overcame the diagnosis and lived a very long and full and happy life. Her words were, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And this, because she believed this, she turned around a very physical, tangible, diagnosable condition, and released it for a condition of health and wealth and health. There was wealth, but she manifested health first. And this was a real blessing to her. You have the ability to rearrange your belief system by placing yourself in power. And it's not that you have the power, but God's presence within you gives you the power to discern, to think, to manifest, to look at your options and to choose the very best ones, to behave as a beneficial presence and to make a difference in your life and in the lives that touch your life, therefore making our world a better place. You can give yourself permission to be powerful. And if you do this, it creates causative energy. It creates energy that causes things to happen for your benefit. I hope these ideas have helped you. And if you're new, you must come back to this channel often. Or if you'd like to this, you might want to just go back and listen to it again right now or some other time and see if these ideas are helping you and will help you. And then perhaps for those of you that are familiar with me and these ideas in Unity and the Unity Church of El Cajon, hopefully this is stimulates you to keep on the path and keep going forward. For those of you that may be new, maybe this is a new door opening that will be of special benefit for all of us. It's good to know that we have the power. Go use your power and have a beautiful rest of the day.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out. Ooh. silence is been quiet.